Hello, how are you? Hope you're having a good day today, this Thursday. Today we are in 2 Kings still, and we're in a really fun story. I'm not going to read the story, but I'm going to tell you the story. The story is about Naaman, who is was working for Aram, which was a country that had come in and attacked Israel. And he has leprosy, disease of the skin. And nobody up there in Aram was able to heal him. So there's a servant girl who was actually stolen when they had one of the raiding parties come down and attack. And she was kidnapped and brought and was the servant to Naaman's wife. And so Naaman can't find anybody to cure his leprosy. So the little servant girl says, well, there's a prophet in Israel, who is Elisha, who can do that and has real confidence. And so the king of Aram sends Naaman down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel is really upset because he says, you're just trying to goat me into a fight. And but then Elisha hears about this and says, send him over to me. Why are you renting your garments? Why are you so upset? Send him to me, and we'll take care of him. And he'll see that there is a prophet in Israel that can do something. So he comes over, and he goes up to the door of Elisha. And Elisha sends somebody to him and says, go wash in the Jordan River, and you'll be healed. Well, he's kind of mad. This is kind of a story of people who get kind of mad for no reason. But he's mad because Elisha didn't even come out to him. He's a big, important person. Elisha didn't even come out to me. He just tells me to go wash in that Jordan River. And he says, we got a lot better rivers in Aram than that. And if you look at the Jordan, you know exactly what he's talking about because it's a dirty river. And so he's going to go home in a huff, mad. And his servants, it seems like the servants are the smart ones in this story, his servants say, if he had asked you to do something hard, would you have done it? And he kind of thinks, well, yeah. He goes, well, why not do something easy? Go wash in the river. So he goes and washes in the river, and he's cleansed. And so then he goes back to Elisha, and he wants to give Elisha a bunch of gifts. And Elisha says, no, I'm not taking gifts. Just know that there's a God. And he realizes, yeah, there is a God in Israel, and he is the only God. So he gets kind of converted. And he goes back with all his expensive goods, and one of Elisha's servants realized, hey, there's some money to be made here. Runs after him and said, hey, Elijah changed his mind, and he actually wants that stuff. And so Naaman gives him the stuff, and then, of course, Elisha's not real happy with that, and the servant pays the price for that, being stupid. So that's a neat story, and a neat healing story if somebody has leprosy. Well, of course, it does relate very well to a story in the New Testament. Actually, a couple stories. Jesus uses this story to make the people in his hometown mad. When they think, hey, Jesus, he's our guy. He grew up here. We know who he is. And Jesus says, yeah, you think you're so special. God comes to non-Jews. And he mentions Naaman. He says, there are lots of people, Jesus says, there are lots of people with leprosy in Israel at the time. But Elisha only cured Naaman, a non-Jew. So you guys aren't so special. And, of course, they get mad. They want to throw him off a cliff, and he gets away from them. But he uses this same kind of story later in John chapter 9, verse 1. And I'm going to read that. It says, as Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why is this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or the parents' sins? And there's the connection we always want to make, that there's some kind of connection between your sin and your punishment. We like to make that connection. What did I, if something bad, you get cancer, what did I do to deserve this? And the answer is nothing. Jesus basically says that in the next verse. So let's read it. It says, it was not because of his sins or his parents' sins, Jesus answered. This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the task assigned to us by assigned us by the one who sent us. The night is coming, and then no one can work. But while I'm here in the world, I am the light of the world." Then he spit in the ground, made mud with saliva, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes, and told him, "Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam." Siloam means sent. So the man went and washed and came back seeing. I'm going to show you right now a picture of the pool of Siloam as it was in Jesus' day, and maybe a picture of how it is today when we saw it. But that's a pool in Jerusalem that when the water rippled, people would try and get in the water to get healing. This man goes and gets healing. And this is a great story. If you want to read the rest of the chapter, it's really a lot of fun. Where the Pharisees are really, they don't know what to do with this guy. He's obviously been blind from birth. And now he sees, and they go to him and say, "Tell us how this happened." And he tells them exactly how it happened. And they say, "Oh, we know this Jesus is not a prophet." And he goes, "Well, I don't know if he's a prophet or not. I just know that I see. And he's the one who did it." And they just go around. They pull in his parents, and they say, "Is this your son? Was he born blind?" "Yeah, this is our son. He's born blind." "Well, how'd that happen?" "Well, we don't know. You have to ask him." So they go back to him. I mean, they're just befuddled because Jesus has done something that they can't explain, and so directly points to the fact that he is God. And that's just not something they're going to accept. You notice that blind people with leprosy, people with all kinds of diseases, people who need healing, people that are on the outskirts of society, they have no problem with Jesus being God. Only the ones who think they have their act together, which is a good warning to pastors like myself and any of you Christian people who think that they got their act together in some way or another. You don't. None of us do. We're just all thankful. Like Luther said, evangelism is one beggar telling another beggar where the food is. That's what Christianity is all about, finding out where the food is, and the food is Jesus. The food is his forgiveness. The food is his love and his healing for this blind man, and also for Naaman, but also for all of us in the way he heals our hearts. I was just talking to a family where they have several people that just aren't going to forgive somebody for being stupid, even though they've admitted they've been stupid. And they're holding it against him. And, as Christians, we don't have that option to not forgive, because we have been forgiven so much that holding a grudge against somebody else is like not forgiving them $100 when we've been forgiven millions, like Jesus says in the parable. Well, I hope that's helpful today. I hope you realize that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, and that you are one beggar coming to have some food, and the food is Jesus Christ himself. God bless, and I hope you have a really great day.